And we are on. Welcome to today's Mac, using your Mac Apple class. And today is going to be a little mix of the fun and the work. And by that, you saw already, we're going to be learning how to use the basics of using Apple's Numbers. It's free Numbers program, which is part of the iWorks suite. And Numbers is the Apple equivalent to Microsoft Excel. So if you don't have Microsoft Excel, you don't have to buy Microsoft Excel. And you can do a lot of the same things. You can create charts and graphs, and you can put numbers in and add things up and budgets. And it's the same concept. It's a little different in Numbers, because Apple does things the Apple way. But it's easier. Now, when I first started using it, I thought it was harder because, again, I was used to the Microsoft way, and the Microsoft way is actually more complex. And when you're used to the complex way, you're looking for all the extra steps you have to take. And I didn't see any of those extra steps, and I got really frustrated. And I realized, oh, wait a minute. When I read up on it, I said, oh, it's really more intuitive. Microsoft works on menus and all these different choices, and Apple's been usually more about dragging and dropping and doing it the way a human being would do it. But you're going to see what I mean when we pull this up here. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, what is a spreadsheet? Well, people use it. It's a sheet. It comes from the old days when before we had computers. You had accountants and other financial people, and they had these big, long sheets of paper that had lines in them that were divided in columns and rows. And that was what they used to enter their numbers and keep track of the expenses and income and all of that. And then they did the calculations at the bottom. And you had to be really good at calculating. And you had to be very neat with your pen or your pencil. And it took a lot of time. Well, now, what we have starting with, it actually started with a program called Lotus 1-2-3. And it was a program that, why am I showing you the small me? I can make me a little bigger. How about that? There we are, yes. A program that people were able to transfer that work from the paper to the computer. And then that was a big hit. And Microsoft came along and made their own version called Excel. And now we have other out there, but Microsoft is the dominant one, Excel. But Apple makes their own. So let's go ahead. I'm going to shrink me back down. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to now open up Numbers. Now, it's free on the Mac. They used to just give it automatically included, install it, but not everybody uses it. So you may have to go to the App Store to get it. And you just go to the Mac App Store down here. Alrighty, there's a Mac App Store. And then you just type in the search, type in Numbers, press return, and there's Numbers. And you notice how they have Microsoft Excel right next to it. Alright? So, and if you don't have it, you will click on install. Again, it's free, it'll install. You don't have to do anything else, it'll just install right into your Mac, and then it'll be, when you go to this screen, which is the little rocket ship icon on your dock, or the checkerboard key, I think it's the F4, I believe it is, and you get that. On the trackpad, I use my fingers, just go like this, and then it comes up, okay? And so now there's Numbers there. I'm going to click on Numbers. All right, there it is. What's new in Numbers? Okay, new functions, web video, captions and titles. All right, we're going to skip over that and click continue. And the first thing it does, it's checking to see if I want to open up a previous created document sheet. But I'm going to click on here on the bottom left, new document. And then it asks you to choose a template. All right. Now you see here, here's a basic blank. Now, we're going to do two things. We're going to do it the preset way, and then we're going to do it the manual way, all right? So here's a budget, simple budget. There's table and chart. Let's make it really simple. We'll just do the simple budget, right? Usually people are putting in their expenses. Well, let me show you first the shared expenses one here. Well, let me show you a couple of these, and then we'll go do what we're actually going to do. All right, here's one for a schedule. You can create your schedule right in there if you want to, you know, and then print it out or leave it on here. Okay, I'm not going to do that. And there's one called here shared expenses, where you have a group thing where people are going on a trip together, or they're going out together, or having a family function together, or whatever it is. You have the expenses here up here, and then you list the person down here by name, what they contributed. It's all pre-set up, so, and you can change the names to what you want, and change these items to what you want. You know, they don't have to be concert tickets or whatever. And then it'll show you a graph here, how much each person owes. So that's one. That's another way. Let's go here, and let's do charting, net worth, calendar. And you see here running log, team organization. I mean, you can get really intense. There's an attendance one. Right? Maybe somebody's doing something, having a meetings. I use this one here a lot. It's called invoice. I do work for people. Why did my screen freeze? All right, let me see if I can. I'm going to stop here and see if I can fix that, because my image froze. Let's try this again. Is it my face is moving? Okay, good. Weird that my picture froze, but anyway. So here I use this one here a lot. It's a invoice, and if you're doing work for people, you know, if you have your own kind of little business you do, or you, and it could be anything, you know. I do computer work, but it could be writing something for somebody. It could be, you know, and if they want an invoice, this is already set here. You bring it up, then you can change the names. Let me zoom in a little bit. How about that? All right. There you go. It's bigger now. And you can call it. You can put your own name here. You know, whatever your company is, or you just use your name if your company name is your name. You know. I don't know, whatever. I'm just making things up, okay? And then you would put in who's the person that it goes to. Right? Put their name. You highlight. You erase. You don't want to highlight everything. Just erase. Highlight the person's name, and whoever it's going to. You know, Reverend. Okay, and then, you know, whatever. You know, if there's a change it to whatever. You know, to whatever it is. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm just making stuff up, all right? And you put whatever you want in here, dress, blah, 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 project name. And then there's a bunch of different things here. Now, if you didn't do a bunch of different things, you can delete the ones you don't want. Right? And it doesn't have to be a unit price or anything like a quantity. You can take these columns out, the ones that don't apply to you. Okay? Like maybe you didn't do a quantity. So you don't need a quantity column. You see quantity here is column B. You see that? I'm going to click on column B. I'm going to right click on it. Use a right click. And then I'm going to choose in this menu, delete column. Now I don't need that. All right? And then you just type in whatever it is. Oh, I think I messed that one up, because there was a formula in here. There was a formula. All right, so let me undo that. I'm going to undo, Command Z. All right, that was back. All right, So just leave that in there. Let's make all the quantities one. We're not doing formulas today. That would be too confusing. That's more advanced for another day, like indoors. All right. So it could be something like, maybe for this person, I don't know, maybe you cleaned their office, maybe you did their hair, maybe you, whatever it is, okay? Maybe just some kind of consulting for them. Maybe maybe you wrote a speech. I'm just making stuff up out of my head, and you charge them $200 for it, okay? These we don't need. Now these columns, we can take these out. 3, right click. This won't affect anything. Delete row. I said columns, I meant row. Right click, delete row, right? Now if you had more things, leave more things. And then they put the tax in here and all of that. That's up to you, all right? You can change all of this stuff. And then you have an invoice. Let's say, send me an invoice. Well, you can actually save this and then email it. And you say, you know how to, you click on share here on top, send a copy by mail, and they'll get it, all right? Click on mail, and the mail, I'm going to send it as a PDF, not as numbers, because they may not have numbers, and you want to just have a document that is not changeable. You don't want somebody to be able to change your numbers that you, wait a minute, I thought it said 200. No. Click PDF, and then you click next, and mail opens up, and there is a message going out addressed to the person. The document is right here in the mail, and you're all done. Nice and neat. Okay. Don't save. All right. So back to me. All right. So that's one thing already. So let's do something else here. Let's close that. I'm not going to save it. Delete it. And let's go ahead and do our numbers on top of the screen here. File, new. And now let's look at this budget one. Alrighty. Let's see here. We have schedule already. Yeah, we're going to do a budget, then we'll do a blank. So here's simple budget. Now, do we want simple budget or do we want personal budget? Let's do simple budget. Simple sounds good, right? We like simple. Just to learn. Double click on that. Here is the simple budget. Let me zoom in a little bit better. All right. Now I'm zooming by using my fingers on the trackpad, spreading them out like this. You can do the same thing on the mouse, or you can come up here to where it says zoom in the top left and click on the arrow here and choose what you want. But these are presets. But you can double click. Oh, I lied. You can't double click. You get presets, and if you don't like, then use your fingers. Okay. Or that's all you can do. That's pretty much it. All right. So I made it bigger. Okay. Money in. Paycheck. All right. You can change again. These are just set. You can make these to be whatever you want. Okay. This could be retirement payment. This could be whatever, cash, whatever came in. Okay. Whatever you call it. All right. Whatever. All right. And you put the amount in. So I guess this is like a month. All right. All right. So that's $4,000. You see what they did? They have $4,000 here. That's what somebody came in for that month. And excuse me. Okay. Something in my throat. All right. And here's money out. All right. We could check this. I'm going to double click on this here. I'm going to call this, let's call it September budget. Right. Now, I don't know what anybody's money is. We'll just leave it at 4,000. Okay. And maybe it has some additional income. Maybe it has some, I don't know, some SSI, or you had some other annuities, or from another job, whatever it is. Okay. So we'll just make this 600. All right. There you go. Okay. $4,600. Again, I have no idea what anybody's money is. We're just making this up. Okay, if yours is less, make it less. If yours is more, make it more. Okay, and then we have money out. Now we have the housing. Now this is including, well, this is rent or mortgage, taxes, insurance, whatever your total amount is. These people are clearly not in New York, or maybe they're living in a rent subsidized apartment. You know, that may be what it is, or maybe more. I'm just gonna put, let's make it 1,800. Groceries. Well, I don't spend $500 of groceries a month, but some people do. So put whatever your number is in here. Okay. If you got a bunch of kids, you got people living in the house with you, it may be more. Okay. $470. Okay. Transportation. No, we're not really going anywhere much these days. Usually, you just buy a Metro card, or if you have a monthly ticket, or you have a reduced fare, yours may be half of this. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's just put one, whatever it is, 140. I don't know. All right. Utilities. Now some people live. A lot of the retirees, they live in these apartment complexes that have electricity included in the rent. So that's not my case, but some people do, and some people have. A lot of places have heat included. So whatever it is, let's just put 160. Alrighty. And dining, travel, entertainment. If you go out to eat, if you do any of this kind of stuff, or go see a show. Now we're assuming now, we're thinking of normal times after this situation has been lifted and things are kind of normal. It could be months from now, many months from now. Let's assuming that you go out to eat once in a while, and you do see a show every once in a while, and maybe you spend, I don't know, a month for that. You may not. You may only spend 50. It's all your personal thing. Some people don't go out and do this kind of stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna just put here one. I don't even know what mine is. I'll just put 180. All right, there we go. Education, as if you're buying any books, taking any online courses, things like that. Going to a class. All right. So we'll just leave that what it is. Okay. I'll make it 110. I don't like these round numbers. That's why. Okay. Total expenses, $2,850. Money left over, $1,750. Wow, that's pretty nice. I don't know how realistic that is. Some people may not be making this much money. They may only be bringing in less. If they're on a fixed income, they may only be bringing this much in. Then they only have $740 left over. It all depends how it is. All right. Now, what's important is though, on the right side here, you see a chart, or a graph that gives you a visual representation, a graphical representation of those numbers. And these numbers communicate more to you than, this graph communicates more to you than just the numbers. It's one thing to have an abstract number in your head, or you have to do math, calculate, well, 63% is more than 5. Here, you see it. Oh, what's the biggest part of my money out? It's housing, and it's 63%. It's over half, and that's not unusual for New York. So in some cases, it's 3/4, right? Because the rents are so high. Depends on where you are, and you can see how much money is going to what. Now this is what's called a donut chart. They made this already, and down here below it, you have what's called a legend. The legend shows you what color. The colors tell you what each piece of the donut is. Oh, the green, 16%. Well, what's the green? Oh, the green is groceries, because it says down here in the legend. So that makes it pretty easy to understand, right? Now, there are other kinds of charts. Okay, I can edit the chart, but we'll do that later on, and when we actually create one ourselves, right? And here's chart up here. This is the kind of chart that's being used right now. On the top here, in the menu bar on top, toolbar on top, I click on it. I could change chart. Actually, it made a second one. Well, that's not correct. We don't want to do that. All right. So when we go to the ones that we make ourselves, we'll be able to see how to do that. All right. So that's one that's made for you. Pretty simple. Okay. So now let's do one where we actually do it ourselves. All right. So I'm going to close that. I'll leave it sitting there. Just minimize it. File, New, and now we're going to make a blank sheet. We're going to choose blank. Okay. So now we'll make our own, except we'll just call it not a budget. We'll make like a shopping list. All right. So I'm going to call this, double click on table 1, shopping list. All right. Come down to the first cell. Now I didn't explain to you, by the way, because we hadn't gotten here. A spreadsheet, I told you, is consisting of columns and rows. The columns all have letters. That's how you know what column you're in. A all the way to Z and beyond, and AA and BBA and CA, and goes on hundreds and hundreds of times. The rows are indicated by the numbers. The numbers, and they go all the way down as far as you can drag. And the way it works now in Excel, these numbers, these are all preset. The number of columns is preset. In numbers, they give you 22, but you can add more. How do you add more? You click on this little circle with the equal sign. You click and hold it, and you drag down, and you have more rows. There's no need to have all the rows there at one time. We don't need them. It's not necessary. Same thing with the columns. If I click over here, I want to go beyond G. I click on this parallel lines here in the circle and drag to the right, and then add more. Alrighty. So we're going to make a shopping list. Okay. So let's put some items here. Let's put in here water. Press enter to go down. I'm going to put down here fruit, vegetables. Press enter. Bread. You eat bread. Press enter. I don't know what kind of meat you eat. Let's make meat all inclusive of everything. Meat. Press enter. If you eat cereal. All right. Maybe I'm gonna buy detergent. Okay. You may want to get some. Gosh, I'm not thinking clearly. Maybe you have some juice. Okay. And then that's enough for now. We have a few here. Okay. Now we're gonna put the amounts in. Okay. This is like for one list. I don't know how much water you buy, how many gallons you buy. Okay. I typically buy 2 at a time. I'm gonna put $3. Put a 3. Fruit, I don't know, 4.55. Vegetables, how much vegetables you bought? 6.89. This is after you. Oh, actually, this is what you bought already, not what you're planning on buying. Okay, so I guess shopping list is a bad idea. Huh? I'll call it shopping cost. Right. Bread is $5.40. Oh. Meat is $8.50, and cereal $4.50, and detergent I have no idea because I mail order detergent, so maybe it's $4.12, and juice is $3.99. All right, so there's our shopping list. Now we want to do this. Now we can actually now make a chart. We can make a chart out of this. We certainly can. And I'm trying to decide, should I make the chart first? Let's make the chart first. Okay. So I'm going to highlight, click on the water, hold the mouse, and drag over to the right and come down. Right? And there we highlighted all the items in our shopping cost. And I'm going to click on chart up here. Actually, I'm going to come over here and click on insert in the menu bar. Insert and then chart. And it gives me a choice. What kind of chart do I want? Let's do a pie. And let's do a 3D pie. I like 3 dimensionals on the bottom here. See that? 3D pie. Click that. And my 3D pie shows up at the bottom here. I can click on the little corner handle of the box and drag it and make it bigger. And now we have a 3-dimensional pie. Now these prices are all close. And I got that many items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Yep, there's 8 items here. So they're all close in price, so this doesn't really give you a dramatic representation, but there they are, okay? You have the styler chart over here, his colors, change the colors to however you want to do it, all right? Let's use that. Now, what if you want to, you can put a title on the chart. The legend is here, okay? I can put a title on the chart. Nah, we don't need one. Now, what if you want to change it? I don't like the 3D pie. I want to make it something else. I'm going to click on this and change it to a 3D column. Now you have columns. Pretty cool, okay? So, and whatever chart you want to make, you can do that here, okay? You can change the colors once again. Whatever tickles your fancy. All right, there's that one. All right. You also have, and I'm going back up here, down here in the bottom to chart type. I can have a bar, a 3D bar. Now, if you don't like 3D, maybe you don't want 3D. You can click on the chart type and just make it regular old bar, a 2D part, 2D with 2 dimensions. You may want yours like that. You may want a different color. You may want to have the rainbow colors. Okay. This tells you that. All right. Now there are more things you can do with this. Okay. You can add information on here. Right. You could have it. You can have it display numbers, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the way Apple does it is everything is contained in the Format pane. So on the top right of the screen here, you see it says Format. I click on Format, and now I can format the chart like we had before. I can format the axes. I can arrange things. And what I want to format is, these are known as the series. That's what this term is known as, and you would have to just know that. It's not going to say bars, because it could be a pie slice. It could be something different. It may not be maybe a column. So the things that show that the actual numbers that you put in, those are called the series. So, and these are value labels. I want to know what are the labels would be. What are the values for these? So right now it says none. If I click on this and choose currency, then it's going to show me the amounts of the various different items on that grocery list. Now here the colors actually represent what's here. Water is blue, fruit is green, as you can see, vegetables are gray, so on and so on. So you know what is what. So, and now we have our currency. And you can choose to show it or not show it, all right? Now, before we finish, let's go back up to the chart up here, the actual data that made this chart, our numbers here, right? Let me make this a little bigger. Let's make it a little bigger so you can see. Okay, that's better. Now, what if these, we know that these are dollar amounts because I said so, but what if you were showing to someone else? Well, is this 6.89 pieces of bread or whatever? We have to let it know that these are dollar amounts. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of this, okay, including all of them here, just the numbers, and I come over here to the Format pane, and I'm going to click on table text. Which one was it? I just had it and then it moved. Oh, it's cell. Here, I was in cell. I had it. So this should be data format. It says automatic. Well, I'm going to change this to currency. And now we know that that's what it is. It's actual dollar amounts. All right. And I'm going to put a total down here. I want to have the total amount spent. And I'm going to format this cell to also be currency. Now, well, how do we get the total? Well, there's a couple of cool things here. If I just highlight this whole column here, drag it down, what appears at the bottom of the screen are some calculations. Here's the sum, which is the total, $40.95. Okay, and here's the average. All right, it calculated the average price for me, the minimum and the maximum. That's so cool, right? But what if I want the total to be down here? All right. Now in Excel, they had a thing where you clicked on and you got a sigma symbol and all of that. This is very different here. So what I'm going to do is click right in here. That's where the total is going to go. And just like in Excel, you press the equal sign on your keyboard. I press equal. So after I type the total, I'm going to click on the cell and I press the equal sign. All right. And now it wants to know, what do I want to do here? Well, what I want to do here is add up all this stuff. So I'm going to highlight everything that I want to add up by clicking and dragging, and it's going to add up all of these cells. This is cell B2. Remember I told you it starts with the letter and then the number, the column letter and the row number. B2 to B9, these are the cells, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, B9. It's going to add all of those up. I press the return key, and it gives me the total right there. Simple. It's a little different. I think the Excel way might be easier, but that's because I'm used to it. So there you are. So now we've done a total. We've entered now. So we've learned how to type in our shopping list. We've learned how to get a total. We've learned how to change it into many different types of graphs. This is still the column, the bar chart. And again, if I wanted to, I can go back up here and change it to something else if I want. I'll have to click on it first. Let's click on it. There, now I clicked on it. And now I'm in the format pane and click on chart. I can change it to a different kind of chart right here. Well, these are the blues. I'm sorry. Down here, chart type, and there is a, let's make it a 2D area. That tells me nothing. Let's make it a 2D bubble. These are kind of advanced. We'll just make it a good old regular old, good old fashioned old pie. And there we are. There's our pie. All right. You can play with this. So that is numbers. It's shows you a little bunch of stuff here. If you're totally unfamiliar with using Excel, this is really the kind of thing where if you've used a spreadsheet before and we're transitioning over to this, or if you just want to know how to make a chart or make a budget. And remember, what I showed you just now was the manual way. You can always keep it easy on yourself and do File and then New, and just start with one of these. One of these that are already made. Simple budget. You know, you don't have to do all of that. Here's a more complex budget. Here you go. Here's two charts here. And you just change the numbers. Here's a monthly one, and you change it this way. This is what I recommend most people do. Just go ahead and pick one of these that's already made and then adjust the colors and numbers as you want. And then of course what we did previously was a simple budget, and that was that one. All right, so that's what I really encourage you to do. But I did want to show you, if you had to do a manual one, if you just know what's going on, and it makes you appreciate the preset ones so much more because you realize what you don't have to do. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you got some good knowledge out of this, and you'll play around with this really cool program called Numbers right there, free on your Mac, and you'll go from there. So as usual, I'm hoping you're having for the rest of your day is happy, healthy, and safe, and I'll be with you next time. Tomorrow is our trip. So If those of you going to be there, we'll see you then. If not, we'll just see you next week for our regularly scheduled classes. And so this is Victor Carr, and I am signing off.